Am I the only one that found it suspicious that Zoro, Sanji, Lucci, and Kaku not in the chapter? What them boys off doing? Them boys off somewhere throwing good hands and we can't see it? Is that what's going on here? I think that's what's going on here. Kaku escaped the bubble, I'm gonna assume. I don't think we need Zoro and Sanji to fight Lucci. That would be a little controversial. I don't know where Stussy is, what she's doing. Or maybe she got packed up. But Kaku escaped the bubble, Sanji put him in, and he's fighting Sanji now because in its lobby rematches, Zoro got to fight Kaku. Now Sanji get to beat a former Zoro opponent. Sanji fans should like that. An upgraded former Zoro opponent at that. And then Zoro gets to beat a former Luffy opponent in Lucci. And we've been talking about this since in this lobby. Back then, could Zoro have taken Lucci? I don't think he could take him back in this lobby. Kaku damn near gave him all he could handle. I think Lucci would have took him out back then. But now, Zoro just beat King. How close is Lucci to King? People love talking about King versus Katakuri. How close is Lucci to Katakuri? And if Zoro can somewhat easily beat Lucci, what do we think Zoro would do to Katakuri? Because I've always said, I don't think Katakuri is a good matchup for Zoro. I don't care who y'all think is stronger or what y'all say. Katakuri and Law is two people I don't think Zoro can beat. Just because of how smart they are, how their powers work, and their approach to fighting. Zoro isn't a stupid fighter, but when it comes to Law and Katakuri's ability, I just think it's a terrible matchup for Zoro, and I don't see him winning either one of those fights. I don't know how I feel about Lucci versus King or Katakuri. I don't see Katakuri losing. Don't see King losing either. But we could get some answers to that in Zoro versus Lucci. I don't think this can be a long, drawn-out battle. Depends on what happened with Luffy and Kizaru. It might be. I made a video before saying Kizaru might be defeated, but if that's to happen, then this has to be a long, drawn-out battle. Older than how he writes. Normally, we don't get to see like two major back-to-back battles like that, but this is Endgame. Things may be changing. We may have to see a long, drawn-out battle. Maybe they don't get to escape Egghead Island like just a quick dash and run. Maybe they have to deal with Kizaru first, meaning defeat him. Then they can just leave. Because once Kizaru is gone, I don't think Saturn would be a threat for everyone else. Say Luffy is worn out dealing with Kizaru, Zoro and Sanji, for the most part, worn out dealing with Lucci and Kaku. You still have Brook, Chopper, and everybody else. I have faith that they should be able to handle Saturn. I don't know how strong the Gorosei is gonna be. I think the rest of the crew could definitely jump him and get him out of there. So if that's where we're going, and this is gonna be a long, drawn-out battle for Zoro versus Lucci, we get to talk about, alright, how does this battle go? Is this one of the times where Zoro just ends his battle quickly and then he has to just find something else to do, or it just stays off screen a little bit? Or does this drag on for the sole purpose of we need to keep Zoro busy, to keep him possibly away from Kizaru? Or does Zoro end the Lucci quickly so then he can go jump Kizaru with Luffy, because Luffy may need the help. And Zoro needs lick back for Sabaody. Zoro needs lick back. They must have a moment where Zoro gets the upper hand on Kizaru and talk his shit. When Kizaru pulled up, put his foot disrespectfully on my boy's back and was like, "You're a pirate hunter? I expect more from you." Knowing that boy was hurt from before and exhausted and all that, it was a low blow. We didn't like that. We still got beef with Kizaru for that. Zoro need his leg back. We don't care about consistency for just this one moment, just 2 panels, just 30 seconds in the anime of Zoro absolutely blitzing Kizaru, getting one line off, and then we can go back to consistency in the show and Kizaru being stronger than Zoro. But for just about 2-3 panels, we need Zoro to be on some bullshit. Where do y'all think this goes? I know what I think gonna happen, which is the Kizaru defeated long drawn out thing. That's what or more so, that's what I want. I don't think that's what actually gonna happen. Of like, it makes sense for the storyline and endgame, and let's get rid of an admiral now. But for that to actually happen would be crazy, and I don't think Oda himself may be ready for that to happen yet, even though it would make sense. But if it was to actually happen, I would be surprised. So what's the easiest path forward? The easiest path forward is Zoro mid to low diff Lucci. Sanji does the same as Kaku. We find a way to split hair without taking down Kizaru. Find a new plan, get Vegapunk out of danger. That seems to be the most likely option. And if that's the case, then disappointingly, Lucci, he gonna have to get packed up mid to low diff by Zoro. I don't think we care about how strong Kaku is and what he does against Sanji. At this point with Sanji post-Wano upgrades, I don't think Kaku stands a chance against Sanji either way. So that one isn't as interesting as Lucci, who was once a top dog, who got stronger, got awakened, and did tussle, not successfully, but he did tussle somewhat with Gear 5 Luffy. Just seeing the dispositions and the difference in interactions, going from that, knowing what we know from pre-time skip, and now watching him fight Zoro, it's really interesting to me. Would it be more accurate to the story if Lucci is strong enough to have a full drawn-out battle with Zoro? Because you gotta remember, sometimes things can be looked at in different perspectives. There's like the in anime, what makes sense, what should happen, and then things that people tend to call plot armor, but it's not that simple to me, where it's just like certain things just have to happen for the storyline and where the story is going. Depending on what Oda have planned, it could be the sole reason of what happens between the fight with Zoro and Lucci. If we're gonna escape without defeating Kizaru, that means either a quick battle that's not gonna end, or Zoro easily defeating Lucci. If Kizaru is gonna be defeated, that means a long drawn out battle with Lucci, because most of the time Zoro don't come to help Luffy. Luffy handles his battles mostly on his own, unless he needs a break and where someone substitutes for him for a period of time, and then they go back and Luffy comes back and handles the battle himself again. That's normally the formula. So if we're gonna stick to that formula, Zoro needs something to do during that time, and that something would be Lucci. So that could be the sole reason for how long the fight goes. So now going away from that to the actual characters, how strong they are, what should happen, I feel like Lucci still can hold his own. I don't think Lucci is some pushover now that we can just put to the side. Do I think he has a chance of beating Zoro? No. He has a chance, not a big chance, but he definitely should, in theory, be able to beat Zoro. Is it actually gonna happen? No. Like NBA, if they was to fight 7 times, Lucci could get a win. If they have like a series, Lucci could get a win or 2 maybe. Overall, Zoro wins. It's like Avenger Endgame. There's always different possibilities of what could happen, and then it's up to Oda to pick which one we actually go with, and that becomes canon. This can go a few ways. None of them is Zoro losing. We know that much. Everybody loves Zoro, from anime, manga, live action. Zoro is like Baby Shanks at this point. Mid, low, high, extreme. Can Lucci really push Zoro like a king did? Is Lucci that strong, or is it just, we gonna be here for a little bit, tussle somewhat casually? Zoro don't even need the headband. Zoro versus Lucci. Where we going?
Yeah. I know that you gon' say, 'cause you need something real, for real.